I would say to this day, again, if you put me in a weight room, I would swear to you, I would hate weightlifting. Like, it's just not my thing. And I think that, start slow, do challenge yourself, learn the machine. There's a little bit of a learning curve like there is with anything, because it's got a variety of features, and truth be told, trust in the process. I think the level of entertainment and motivation brings you to a level where you engage a lot more than you would on your own. And by that motivation and larger amount of engagement, you wind up seeing results, I think, way quicker. I have nothing to compare it to other than I'm really motivated to use that machine. I've seen lots of results, and I know without kind of the coaching, the motivation, the online, like that full package, I don't think I'd be here. So I just say, trust the process, engage it, find the instructors that speak to you and that motivate you, and just set it and forget it.
Time to hit the gym, better do it smart. Get your own coach, there where you are. Start the day right, there in your home, with the smartest gym in the world. Ready, set, go. Smart handle, smart bar, smart training, there you are. Customizing it right, AI, form advice. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a total workout.
Welcome to the Superset, episode 17. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hi.
Hi.
I feel like it's been forever since we've done, with the holidays and stuff.
Yeah, it did mess it up. And then this is actually 3 weeks since the last one, so that's probably why.
Whoops. Sorry. Well, we're back in rotation now.
We're getting there.
We're getting back. So,
yeah.
So we appreciate your patience. We have all sorts of cool things lined up, though.
We do.
We have all sorts of cool things in the hopper for the Superset in 2021.
We do.
So watch.
It's got a whiteboard.
Space.
It's filled with things.
Yes.
It's craziness.
And none of them are out of my head, so so people will enjoy it.
That's true. People will enjoy it.
Yes, they will. Mm-hmm. So, I was just thinking, normally we do shameless plugs here, but I thought we should probably also plug Tonal.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is a podcast about Tonal. That seems like a good place to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a post in the Tonal community not too long ago about if you're using the app, you should swing on by the App Store and give them a review, whether it's Apple or Google Play Store. Is that what they call it? Play Store?
They do call it the Google Play Store.
That is the worst name ever.
It is.
I feel like such an idiot every time I have to say the Play Store.
Now that I switched to Apple, I don't have to say that anymore.
Yeah, that's maybe the only net positive. But I hate that name, the Play Store.
Well, let's focus here.
Okay. But yeah, so they posted about if you're enjoying the app, you should go over there and leave them a little review.
Yeah, I mean, and they've done so much with Tonal in the last year, so they're just looking for people to, to put in writing what you're enjoying. And just like we say here on the podcast, if you're going to leave us a review, you don't have to leave like a super long one. And I'm sure Tonal feels the same way. Like you can say it in a few words, and if you can just put the stars, like they'll love that too.
5 stars, love it, and be done. Like that's fine too. Like it's just they want people that are on the fence when they look there to see like, oh, this is worth doing. People dig it.
Yep.
So, and if you're listening to this, we're assuming you dig it, because why would you sit through this if you didn't?
It's a fair question.
Yeah,
it's a fair question.
So, and while we're on the topic of shameless plugs, don't forget, we'll let us plug ourselves. Wait.
Don't make it weird, Tom.
Too late. That's my jam. That's what I do. Making things weird is my superpower. So don't forget, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, Google, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find them, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and subscribe. Not unlike what you're going to do for Tonal, you should leave a review for us as well.
We love reviews.
That's greatly apprecited. We love about 98% of them.
And we will read them.
Yes.
So you'll hear your name.
We'll read about 98% of them. and of course, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Superset Podcast. While you're there, like the page, join the group. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
Let's do it.
So the Tonal Blog has posted its Year in Strength with Tonal.
Yep. And I believe this is the first time they've done a review like that. I don't remember there being one last year. So that's kind of exciting.
So what interesting things have we gleaned from that?
Well, this is crazy. Get this. The entire tonal community collectively lifted billions of pounds and increased their strength score by 1.75 million points.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot.
Yeah. So the total pounds was 3.25 billion pounds. And in case you're wondering, that's the equivalent of 20 Washington monuments.
Quick, how many Lincoln Memorials?
No clue.
Okay.
It doesn't say it in the little box.
How many Gateway Arches?
I got nothing.
How many Mount Rushmores?
There's
Do you count it per president, or is it 4 presidents equal to Mount Rushmore?
No conversion. I'm going to know.
Damn it. How many Eiffel Towers?
Seriously.
Oh, man. How many giant ball of strings?
Scroll.
Don't need for name calling.
And if you were wondering, that's 2 million hours that people worked out. And that's a total of 214 years.
How many Empire State Buildings is that?
I still don't know.
Okay.
And it's measuring time, not weight. So I don't think that's a thing. I can't get over this strength score, though. 1.75 million points. I know I added at least 3.
How many Eiffel Towers?
Oh, no.
I did Eiffel Towers.
Knock it off.
How many Leaning Tower of Pisas?
Stop it.
Is that all of them?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about these. Stop. Scroll down. Right there. Stop. There you go.
It's hammer time.
I thought I was going to collaborate and listen.
No.
Okay. Well, the most popular upper body move was the bench press. The most popular lower body move was the goblet squat, and I call bullshit on that. Here's my theory. They program them into every program, therefore we do it. It does not mean it's popular.
I was about to say the same thing. It might be the most frequently done exercise, but I'm going to go on a limb and say probably none of these are technically popular.
I actually do like the bench press. After about 5, I'm done. But I really I'll do them.
Yeah.
But I enjoy them because I feel strong.
A lot of people don't know this, but in the mental health community, they will ask people if they like the goblet squat, and if they say yes, they know they're a sociopath.
I don't think that's true.
I'm 100% sure that that's true.
And in case you're wondering, the most popular core move was the half kneeling lift. Again, I say that is the most used. I do not say that it is the most popular. These moves are hard. It's weird that
so many people have done the half kneeling lift, but it doesn't seem like anybody's graduated to the kneeling lift. Just a full kneeling lift.
Yeah, no.
Is that not how that works?
No.
Okay.
You could do a split squat while you do it, though. Most popular program was Go Big and Go Home. Most popular yoga workout was Open Hips, Open Mind. No dirty joke. Insulted there, Tom.
Damn it.
And the most popular high-intensity workout was Upper Body Pump with Coach Jared, which I personally did several times.
So I can make an upper body pump joke?
No.
Well, you said I couldn't.
I just felt that the other one was more obvious. No.
Okay.
So that was really all I wanted to go over. I thought it was really cool. I love seeing all the different feedback that you get whenever you put everybody's stats together like that. I always think that's really cool.
Absolutely.
And I truly don't remember what my strength score went up. It actually went up quite a bit. And then I lifted a whole bunch. I think I lifted a Statue of Liberty or something like that.
How many Statues of Liberty is that? Oh, damn. No, it's 1. It's a 1-to-1 ratio on Statue of Liberty.
You need to get your own tonal program so you can figure out how many you lift and just leave it alone for everybody else.
If I lifted a Statue of Liberty, it would be like that little tiny one that they sell in all the kiosks along the street.
It's 3 inches tall.
And just to be clear,
the plastic one,
not the lead one, but the super light plastic one. That's what I would lift.
Got it.
So while we're doing year in review on their blog, they also had a blog post about 10 ways Tonal made you stronger in 2020.
Man, when you put all these things together, this is amazing. Listen to all they added here. Smart Flex.
Okay.
Then they added form feedback.
Right.
They added more workout content. So if you have the family fitness, pre and postnatal, meditation, Pilates, boot camp, kickboxing, bar, and dance cardio, all added in 2020.
That's a lot.
They added achievements, badges, and a leaderboard.
Okay.
They also added virtual group workouts.
Where's my favorite?
Tony Horton.
That's not my favorite.
They added Tony Horton.
But that's good.
And they added more music. They added all the Apple that you could integrate with your Apple Music as well.
Gotcha.
Heart rate tracking, movement replacements. So if you hate the goblet squat and another one is available, you can switch that out.
So goblet squats, you might not be in the most popular in 2021.
You may not. And then the tonal gear shop. All of that added in 2020. What was your favorite?
Where's little guy front and back?
I believe they call that muscle maps.
Nobody calls it that. Everyone
calls it little guy front and back.
Every guy calls it little guy front and back.
Well,
and just to be clear, it's little guy.
Little guy.
There's no T's in that.
Right, it's just lil.
Little guy.
Little guy front and back. I do love little guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool to kind of see them all listed out there together. What a bunch of amazing things to add to an already amazing machine.
Absolutely.
It's like getting a whole different machine.
Yeah, they have made so many changes and like tweaks for the positive and just adding features and other ways to keep track of what you're doing or make sure what you're doing properly.
Yeah. Not
just for your own fitness, but also for your own safety.
Yeah, totally. The form feedback is great for that specific reason. It's great for a lot of reasons, but that's...
I just feel bad about them dissing little guy front and back. And you know what it is? I'll tell you what they're doing right now.
Oh, no.
They don't like short guys.
You think that's what it is?
It's because he's a little guy.
And so...
And...
Do you feel that that's a personal attack on you then?
I think it might be.
Okay.
I think that might be what's at play here.
So is this a version of Little Man Syndrome?
No, he's very nice. He's not egotistical. He's just over there doing his job, helping you out, letting you know. He's just I'll just be over here. Little guy front and backing. He's like, you need help, baby? Because baby got little guy front and back. I'm here for you. And meanwhile, no love.
No love.
No love.
Does that mean he's a scrub?
Apparently. Not to mix my pop song metaphors, but perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Whew, that was unexpected. Rabbit hole.
And while we're talking about changes, they're not stopping.
They're not.
They're not stopping. And they've made a new one to try and suppress the rise of the goblet squat.
They have come up with yet another tweak, another improvement. So on the mobile app, you can now find moves to try in the movement tab.
So you can seek out non-goblet squat based moves.
You can, or perhaps you're a person that wants to make sure that you have tried all 170 moves,
like a dirty deck of cards,
sort of.
Okay.
So
there's only 52 moves,
and it doesn't have to be dirty.
I'm just saying, you get the dirty deck of cards, and you're like, did it? Haven't done it. I don't think I could do that.
Right.
Like, you know.
Well, this is more about exercise, like just being able to.
I think that counts as cardio.
So I really need you to focus here.
Felt like I was pretty focused. Not gonna lie.
Oh my word, we're never gonna get through this. So they added a new ability to go into the mobile app and check out the moves. So you can go find a move you haven't done.
Okay.
And then you can click on it and find out what the description is, what the benefits are, and the best part, what programs and workouts have that move.
Okay.
That's nice to be able to go and find that specific thing. You don't have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Anything else to add, Tom?
Can you search for little guy front and back?
No.
Because he's always there. He's always there for you. That's why.
You don't need to search.
You don't need to search for him.
Right there.
Like Richard Marx, he's right there waiting.
I feel like we need to change our outro music to some pop song from the 80s.
We can't afford it.
I know. You're right. We can't.
We don't got that kind of money. And speaking of 80 songs that we can't afford.
Okay.
You can now skip a song.
You can. You can skip
via
a song.
your Apple Watch.
Yes. If you go to the fourth screen, boop,
Boop.
you just skip it.
You skip it.
Yep.
Okay. That comes in handy.
It does.
Yeah.
Maybe it's always been there. I don't know. But Ann Kingman posted about it,
Right.
and I've never used it, so it's new to me. So there you go.
Okay. But yeah, because it's like even with if you like the playlist, you don't necessarily like
Every song.
every 80s song or
Exactly.
every country song.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when Florida Georgia Line comes on, I'm out. Skip that. No. Or Dave Matthews. Mm-mm.
Okay, Dave Matthews, I agree. I actually kind of like Florida Georgia
I know.
Line.
You crack me up. You really do.
I know that they're like the Nickelback of country music, but
For me, they are.
Yeah.
I like Nickelback more than I like them.
yeah. And I don't hate Nickelback. I know people like that. They're like Nickelback because people kind of like to hate them. They got so
Yeah.
popular, people kind of like to dump on them.
Yeah.
But they got some catchy songs.
You did get me liking that one song, the Up Down song.
Yeah. See, that's almost like working out. Up, down. I could have made it dirty, but I didn't.
I know. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised you took it that way. Nope.
And then if you're looking for ways, if you don't like the winter, and a lot of people don't,
That's true. A lot of people do not.
winter is great until about noon on Christmas Day, and then make it spring.
Yeah, and even people who enjoy winter, maybe winter doesn't always agree with their system.
Right.
You know?
It's like enough.
Yeah.
We get it. You're cold and gray.
The winter blues are a thing, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So Tonal has a blog post about 9 different workouts to help you with your winter blues.
Yes, which I think is a great thing to post because there's all different kinds of ways to get out of a funk.
Mm-hmm.
So yoga and meditation is one of the things they mention, and that's great when you just need some you need to move, but you don't necessarily want to move quickly.
Sure. Because you're frozen because it's wintertime.
Right. Or maybe you just don't feel great in the mind. Bar is kind of the same way. It's kind of that slow, understated, but you're still getting a great workout.
Okay.
But then, on the other hand, maybe you need to do some high intensity, which is awesome to get the blood flowing. And I usually get a big endorphin rush. This is usually my favorite. In fact, right now with MetPro, I am told to do less cardio.
Right.
Like I have to keep I'm not supposed to do very much strength, and I'm supposed to keep my heart rate zone low so I'm not eating up the muscle while I'm eating less food. And it's really messing with my head.
Yeah.
I love the cardio that's fast.
Right.
And I like to lift. And so this has been difficult. So I think that this blog post is really good for people that need to switch it up
Yeah.
if they're in a funk.
Especially because if you do need to switch it up, a lot of times you just don't even know what to switch it up to.
Yes.
And so here's some suggestions.
Yes, because if you're not especially for people, winter blues are usually known as a type of depression, and if you are feeling depressed, you often can't even get summon the energy to make a decision.
Right.
Everything seems too hard. So I love that they have suggestions right
Absolutely.
Look who's talking about Tonal.
There was an interesting article this week from Russ Tourism. I'm not sure what makes it Russy, but
there. I thought it was Rust something, but Rust Tourism makes more sense.
yeah.
So we'll go with
Because if
that.
not, it's Rust R-ism.
Yeah, maybe it's Rust Tourism, and they just didn't put 2 T's like you're
I
supposed
don't
to.
know. That seems, but either
Anyway.
way, they have an article about the Four Seasons hotels, which are a nice, moderately priced chain for people.
But this is in Silicon Valley,
Okay,
so
yeah, they're debuting Tonal Capsules.
capsules.
That's how they say it at the Four Seasons. We just say capsules,
Right.
but at the Four Seasons,
Well, it's also because we're in the Midwest.
they're capsules.
So what exactly is a capsule?
So basically, they're taking their gym, and obviously, you don't want people all huffing and puffing in the gym anymore. Nobody wants to go to the
Yeah,
gym.
that's right.
So they've created little pods that you can walk into, and surprise, there's a tonal waiting for you. You know what's waiting for you in that tonal? You know what's
little-
waiting for you in that pod?
Little guy front
Little
back.
guy front and back. And he's there to help you work out in a pod that's contained, so you don't have to worry about the guy next to you exhaling the Rona all over you.
Right. No, that's great.
And then when they're done, they can go in and they can just clean that little pod.
That's awesome. Maybe it has like the UV light and it just zaps it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that fancy, but it is Silicon Valley, so I don't know. And but yeah, so I just thought that was really interesting.
It is.
And also interesting to see if this rolls out, and what a great way for gyms to adapt, right? Like, so many people when they're on the road want to work out.
Totally.
Those gyms get a lot of usage.
Yeah, I think that would be good for gyms in general. It might be a way for them to kind of come back into a higher level of relevance. I mean, gyms are never going to go out all the way, nor do we want them to. But I think that could bring them back in a different way. So that's really great.
Yeah, and it's a great way for people that, to sample the Tonal. And I'm thinking that if you're staying at a Four Seasons, you probably would invest in a Tonal for your home. Like, it's,
totally.
Then also there is a new Tonal group for people out there.
There is. And I know that Tonal gave their okay for this to be like the name of the group and everything, to use the word Tonal in it.
Right, because it's their name.
Exactly. And it's called Gays Who Tonal. So it's a safe place for gay, bi, queer, pansexual, trans, non-binary identifying men with Tonal. So you can have some connections, foster those connections over working out and using your Tonal. So I thought that was really cool. I love seeing the community grow and wanted to make sure we mentioned that.
Absolutely. And then there was a recent Tonal Talk. We always like to kind of recap what those were about so people can go check them out. So
this Tonal Talk was really cool. It was called Adaptive Athletics on Tonal. And so Tonal talked to a couple of different athletes, two different athletes, Travis Gartner and Ryan Herrick, and they're obviously part of the Tonal community. Mm-hmm. They are adaptive athletes. So
what does that mean?
It means that they have, like, one of them is in a wheelchair, for example, and so can't use the Tonal in a traditional sense, like the way, like goblet squats wouldn't be a good,
certainly, yeah.
So, like, how can they therefore adapt it for their particular needs? And so this Tonal Talk was all about that.
Well, that's fascinating. One, I'm glad I asked what it meant. Two, I'm glad I didn't say something rude.
Well, me too. Yeah, I mean, and if you had seen a picture of it, you immediately would have you would have known not to say something like that. Because you would have been like, oh, well, that would be...
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense when you understand.
Sure, yeah.
But I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, totally. That's really, that does sound really interesting, of like just the... Because like on the clip out, we had talked to someone who used their Peloton who was a Paralympian.
Exactly.
And she had to make some modifications so she could still train on the bike even though she was a paraplegic.
Yes. So this particular episode is airing the same day that our episode drops. So it's going to be Wednesday the 27th, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern. So 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. A lot of folks listen on the West Coast. That'd be 5 p.m. Pacific time.
And you don't have to watch them live. When it's over, it'll live on the internet and you can go find it. So you didn't, if you're hearing this after that date, you didn't miss it. It's still out there. Go find it.
Yeah. I'm super excited about this.
And then Coach Nicolette has a new thing going on for people.
Yeah, there's another new group called the Complete Training Crew. I want to make sure I get that right. So there is a challenge that starts in February. And what it's going to do, Nicolette designed a challenge specifically for people to use their Peloton and their Tonal. And she put an entire challenge just for them together.
Oh, that's awesome. Because obviously there are lots of people who have both. There's a lot of crossover.
Absolutely.
New Tonal content.
And then there is tons of new content coming to the machine.
There is. And I have to start with the most anticipated that's coming out.
Right.
Everyone is excited about this. February 2nd, Go Big or Go Home 2 is coming.
Awesome.
It will be on your trainer. And Tonal is now having these instructor-led challenges every month. So January, Nicolette kicked it off, and she had one for her newest. I'm totally blanking on it. Raise the Barbell 2.
Okay.
She just did that one. Now it's Coach Jackson's turn, and it's going to be a whole challenge the month of February, mixed in with Go Big or Go Home 2.
Okay.
And so people are just ecstatic.
I know that's a very popular one. I hear that one mentioned a lot.
Yes.
So is this like Raising the Barbell 2 in that you didn't have to do the first one? They're not designed to be
Correct.
progressive. Like you can, if you haven't done Go Big or Go Home, you can just jump right in on part 2.
You can.
It's like Gremlins 2.
Right.
You don't really need to have seen the first one to understand what's going on.
It's the great analogy.
And so don't feel like you have to do the other one first if you wanted to try this new thing.
Yep, totally. So that is super, super exciting. Now, there's also more content because Tonal never stops. Another highly anticipated program is More Gains with Chains 2 with Coach Paul.
I'm so glad if it's more gains, they didn't rhyme it with pain, because that would be more pain.
Right.
So like just there's an appropriate amount of pain with your exercising, but you don't want more. So I'm glad that they went with the chains. direction.
It was good. But also, it's the chains feature on Tonal.
Yeah.
And so this one is another like highly sought after. So super exciting that this is happening. Okay, and then we get into a bunch of different one-off classes. So there's high intensity super abs with Coach Gabby. There's new yoga, sunrise yoga with Coach Francis. People have been raving about that. And for the moms out there, a new postnatal modifications with Coach Amy and postnatal cardio with Coach Amy. And there's a new live beta class, Best Foot Forward with Coach Allison. It's all about lower body foundation. It's going to help you work both bilaterally and unilaterally, so either side.
Awesome.
And then there's even more. I'm not done.
But wait,
there's more. Okay, so now there's a whole bunch of new yoga and mobility content that has been added with more guest coaches, Venus, Jake, and Nikki. And they were recently available for a Tonal Talk on January 19th. So if you missed out on that, go back and check it out.
Okay.
But some of the new classes are new mobility. There's a beginner, an intermediate, and then there's a mobility boot camp with Coach Venus. There's also stretch and flow with Jake, calming yoga with Jake, and grounded power flow with Jake. And then several from Coach Nikki. There's the pick me up flow and warrior strength flow and core of fire with Coach Nikki.
Awesome.
So much new stuff. Very, very cool.
Absolutely. And then finally, of course, Tonal is great at exercising your body, but you can also exercise your mind by checking out the Tonal Book Club. And their February pick is called Can't Hurt Me from David Goggins.
And man, I hear so many awesome things about David Goggins. This is very exciting. People get the book if you haven't already, and they're going to be reading it all month long together. So there's going to be several different like check-ins throughout the week, and then at the end of the month, there's a whole Zoom discussion, and you can really dive in and discuss the book with other Tonalites.
Checking in with the Tonal community.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is David Stember. Hey, David, how's it going?
Hi, good, Tom. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah. Don't forget Crystal. She's the real.
Oh, hi, Crystal. Sorry.
He's like, oh, cool. I get both of you. It's a package
Mistake
deal.
in minute 1.
This is over.
I have to be here because if I'm not here, Tom wouldn't know what to say to you.
There is that.
He would be like, what are the questions? What are we doing? What is this about?
Which podcast is this for? Did you see the movie of the week? No, not that podcast.
So I guess to get started, I always like to ask people on both podcasts how you originally found Tonal and like when in your journey.
Sure. So it's sort of an interesting story. I had purchased a Peloton and really enjoyed that for about a year. I'd never been much of an athlete, to be honest, but I always enjoyed spin class. And my wife had kind of said, you should look at this thing. And we did. And I immediately kind of bought it after the test trial. And after that, sadly, I lost both my mother, my father, and my brother.
Oh.
Basically, my nuclear family.
Oh my
and
God.
the long story short there, Crystal, was they were all not in the best of health for a variety of kind of systemic health issues. So health had become kind of a more important thing to me. And sadly, I lost my uncle Ira, who had always been really somebody I looked up to, and it was like my adult pleasure to actually have an adult friendship with him. And so literally he passes and I put on the clip out and I start driving to meet my wife midway because we were going to drive down to New York City. And it happened to be the episode where you guys were talking about the tonal, I think, for the first time. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, this thing sounds really, really cool, but it's just in California. It's like a lot of money. I kind of looked it up quickly. How do you buy something that you don't actually try out? So I pick up my wife midway and we're driving down. I said, you got to listen to this podcast and this tonal. And eventually I convinced her to listen. She's like, that sounds really cool, but like, it's a lot of money. And like, how do we try it out? And et cetera. I said, it's only in San Francisco, but we are going to Manhattan, like to New York City. And if it was ever going to be introduced to the East Coast, you got to figure it starts there. Right. So, so we looked it up literally as we're driving down to New York City, and they had opened up a pop-up store in the I'm going to mispronounce it, but the Bandier building.
Okay.
And we're in St. Louis, man, so we can't correct you. Like, we'll go with it.
We'd make it worse.
Yeah, we don't even say Manhattan right all the time. That's how Midwest we are.
So we look at the address, and I swear to God, it's true. Out of all the streets the tonal pop-up could have been on, it was on the street my uncle used to live on.
Oh my gosh.
So it was really weird. So we said, hey, in the midst of all this heaviness, let's find a couple hours to go down there, which we did. And I really liked it from the beginning. My wife's like, it's kind of more my thing. My wife is more the athlete, and she's always gone to the gym, and she's always done weightlifting actually at the gym. I've always kind of hated weightlifting, to be honest. And it's not something I did a whole lot of, but ultimately, you were kind enough. I instant messaged you. I think, Crystal, just knowing you tend to be the one that like works out.
That knows things.
So
Tom would have been like, hang on, let me get Crystal.
Right. That's exactly how that would have gone down.
So you were absolutely kind enough to answer a couple questions, and we bought it. I ordered it, and it was installed December 24th, 2020.
Wow.
Christmas
was when they
Eve?
put the tonal on the wall.
They installed it.
XPO came Christmas Eve.
That's crazy. I didn't even know.
Showed up.
Yeah, I didn't know they even worked on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I was around and said, "Are you sure this is going to work for you guys?" But yep, that's when we're coming. So something like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, Christmas Eve day.
Wow.
They installed the tonal. So it's been a little over a year.
Wow.
Since I've had it.
That's amazing.
And I'm assuming you like it because 1, you're on this podcast, and 2, you still talk to Crystal. So you're not like,
he hasn't cut me off yet.
Piss away all this money.
Yeah, no. I loved it. My wife kind of said, I like going to the gym, and I have this program at the gym, and I'll use it a little here or there. But it's for you, etc. And I got involved with it. I think the first thing I did was Better Bike and Tread with Coach Nicolette. But eventually what happened is COVID obviously shut down the gyms. And my wife, for the first time in my marriage, I've been married, it's about to be 15 years, in mixed company, no less, said, I never realized my husband was a genius when he put it into So I thank you both. I've heard that story repeated multiple times out of my wife's mouth, which I very much appreciate.
And now it's preserved for posterity.
Right,
because
now it's in this podcast. So you can play it anytime.
It can't. Oh, that's awesome. Can't be undone.
Yeah, and not only can you play it at any time, but so when we post these, there's transcripts. So it will be fed in to the Google machine.
That's right.
And the Google machine will cache it for all time. So
you're never getting this off the internet.
Yes.
I might be in trouble now.
Just like those pictures I took in college. Hard times.
Well, that's great. Okay, so you said that you really didn't like lifting weights, but was it always part of your routine? What was your fitness journey like? Were you...
Yeah, truth be told, it never was. I was never much of an athlete. I did play high school football. I was the biggest guy on my team at 187 pounds, which didn't say a whole lot about my team. We had an undefeated coin toss, just throwing that out there. But I was more kind of a theater and musical theater kid, actually, and had a pretty good voice was sort of my thing. So I always had this fantasy that I'd run out on the field, take off the helmet, sing the national anthem.
Yeah.
and then like return to the bench. And the high point was my senior year, explaining to my varsity football coach that I needed to miss a week of practice because I made all state. And he said, all state mixed chorus. So, so when I moved to Boston, I was a little bit of a weekend warrior, but when I moved to Boston, I met a number of very athletic, accomplished women that were road bikers. So I did buy a road bike, and that's something I enjoyed, but it was really more about the company and the meal after, and maybe an adult beverage after kind of a ride. But truth be told, like fitness was just not a consistent part of my life. And I would say to today, I love the Tonal. I use it 4 days a week. I would still tell you I don't like lifting weights, not the Tonal, but like going to the gym and plates. I just don't see doing it. The level of motivation is just so huge.
Is that because you
have to? It's just so much fun.
Is it because you have to leave to go lift the weights that you wouldn't do that? Or is it like it's a different experience with the Tonal?
I think it's a really different experience with the Tonal. I don't know what you guys think, but I think in my way of thinking about it, it's like the story nobody talks about is how much darn fun it is.
I mean, I think it is.
The design of it, the technology behind it, the coaching behind it, the community online, it just makes it a ton of fun. And so it becomes like one of my favorite things to do, frankly. But at the same point, I would say to myself, hey, if I went to the gym to just sit there and grab weights off a rack, it's an odd thing to say because I've used the thing a lot, but I don't think I would enjoy that experience. I think the Tonal is just really unique.
Well, I mean, I get that just for different reasons. Like, I don't like going into the gym because I always felt intimidated in the weight section. I didn't know what I was doing.
Especially the weight section. That just seems like that's the part of the gym. Even the people that like to go to the gym get intimidated going into the weight portion.
Yeah, it always felt like full of like these big guys who were like so judging everyone who walked in there, and they probably could care less, but that's just what I perceived. And
like, I always thought of it as not even that they were judging, but just that like you were in their way.
Totally,
and
that's true too.
You were visibly not as advanced as they were, and so move.
Yeah, because it's like, if you don't know what kind of weight you need to pick up, like, do you need to pick up a 10 pound or a 15 and then like try it out, and then like you need to kind of stand there and figure that out. And I always felt dumb doing that. I just felt dumb through the whole process. And so that's why Tonal's been such a game changer for me, because I don't have to go somewhere and have somebody staring at me or like sitting there like, what is she doing, and it's just like I don't have that fear of judgment. It doesn't make me feel so like out there. I can do it in the privacy of my own home, and if I make a mistake, then it's only between me and my Tonal.
Yeah, I hear you. For me, it's just ignorance, and I would say I empathize with some of what you say, Crystal. It doesn't get better if you're a guy in that weight section feeling the same way, right? So, but in terms of like programmatically what to do and which dumbbell and what's the right weight, and are you really going to see results? Tonal is. It's amazing, man. It's kind of set it and forget it.
Yes.
And then the interface itself is just to not have to rotate weights, and the box magically knows how much weight to put on there. And then you got Coach Paul calling me an athlete for the first time in my life. I want to make that like my ringtone. I hope I'll make a ringtone so that every time I
let's go,
it's
athlete.
Coach Paul calling me an athlete.
Yeah, and I really like how he says that, because it's not. Sometimes people will say things like, like your best friends with them, and it feels a little insincere. And so I like that he says athlete, because that feels sincere and natural for him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so for me, I really like that he uses that term. And I think it not only yourself, but I think it makes a lot of people feel good because they're working out. And it's like, hey, it's the first time I've ever lifted this many weights. And he's sitting here calling me an athlete. I must be an athlete. That's a great takeaway from that.
I try.
But I mean, you've had a lot of success, right? It's because I've seen you post your selfies, and like, so what has the last year been like for you? How's it changed your fitness?
Well, it's kind of hard to imagine, but I just pulled up like the strength score. My upper body is like, it's hard for me to believe, but it's up 397%.
Holy crap.
Wow.
That's insane.
So, yeah. So, and then like overall it's, I don't know, I went from 300 something, 352. I'm at 1,181.
Whoa.
On the overall strength score, right? So it's kind of hard for me to believe because I'm just like a guy sitting in my home gym, again, kind of setting and forgetting it. But somewhere in there, you listen to Coach Jackson, like I think the second or third, I think it was third program I joined, Go Big, Go Home. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? This guy is destroying my chest 16 ways till Sunday. And then, hey, the next exercise is push-ups. Like who does that? But,
Coach Jackson.
Like, what?
Who does it?
Now you want me to do push-ups? But, somewhere in there, like with all the coaching and what they're saying, it kind of changes the way you think.
It does.
So in a funny way, I'm a clinical psychologist and my expertise is cognitive behavioral therapy. I do a lot of exposure therapy for folks with anxiety disorders. And it's just incredible to me that you could be sitting there doing this very hard, seemingly impossible thing and say, there's no way I could do this. And then you do it. And then there's an Arnold Schwarzenegger quote, laced in there for good measure. And that kind of gets in your head. Right. So it's like all day long, I keep thinking to myself, you can have results or excuses, but you can't have both.
That's right.
So I've just kept at it. To be honest, it's really the last month that I think I've kind of started to realize that I've made like a lot of progress on this machine, and it feels great.
You accidentally CBT'd yourself.
You did.
I did. That's absolutely correct. And I think that's the difference between like going to a gym and just throwing around a bunch of lead, I think, versus what the Tonal offers with like the personalities and the coaching and just knowing that the machine kind of has your back, right? I mean, like you don't have to walk up and say, hey, will you spot me? The machine spots you.
Yeah.
It knows kind of how to push you. And then like, I think over the year, I've always kind of made a game of upping the weight a little or trying to eke out an extra rep or two. And obviously that helps like with a strength score metric.
Yeah. And, are you using the new feature with the little squiggly line at the bottom that shows you like your power and range of motion for each rep? And
I am super cool.
And I was wondering if that's changed anything for you, because for me, it really changed how fast I was doing the movement, like the eccentric movement. The movement that you're pulling up the weight. Like, if you're doing a row, how fast you're pulling it back. Because power. It
was my understanding there'd be no math involved.
Right.
Well, but to see the graph, it's like, oh, I'm not doing that enough. So I have to really go fast on that part. And I didn't know if that changed anything for you, or if it's like,
it did when they put it in. I forget, maybe I became aware just from the Facebook group. I'm guessing. But when I figured that out, I mean, it's amazing to have that kind of literally biofeedback, right? You're seeing the bars go up. You're seeing the little sine curve do its magic. You're getting upset if like you're below the little bar. So I would say that absolutely is a pretty significant game changer.
Yeah. And so I started the new Raise the Barbell challenge. Number 2. And I'm finding that it's not as easy to do that 80% on that because there's so many back-to-back moves. So like I can't, by the end in like the third and fourth set, I can't necessarily get the whole, I'm not able to get the power on there.
So I fail all the time. And what I do, Crystal, and don't tell Coach Nicolette, please.
She might hear this. I can't promise.
So if I fail, and I have the same problem. At some point, shoulder day was brutal.
Yeah.
Frankly. So if I fail and it moves on, I get pissed off. Just get upset. Right? And I hit that back arrow and I wait maybe 40 seconds and let myself recover. And I'm going to be like, and then I'll move the weight down. I know you made a comment the other day about it moving the weight down. I won't accept the weight. Like it pisses me off that they lowered the weight. So I'll jump the weight up to what it had been. And I'm like, I'm going to do these last 3 reps. And
Good for you.
If I can.
Yeah.
If I can.
I get kind of mad. And I had a very short amount of time that day, so I couldn't keep going, but I was mad. And I think that's the first time that I've really been like, damn you, Nicolette.
She looks so nice.
I
Am
know.
I wrong?
She's smiling all sweet, and then she's ripping your arms apart.
Oh my God, leg day is just like, what a nut. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. So I had this problem. I did go big, go home twice, right? So day 3 is leg day. And it just I just hurt for 3 days. I don't know why I do leg day, why any of us do leg day, but I do it, right?
Because it works.
So I signed up and I took it a second time some months forward. And I have this problem where if I do a program like that again, like I'm really worried about this coming week because now I know how hard it is. Right.
Yep.
And so I wander around my house. I bug my wife who's working from home. I'm like, maybe I'll get a little more water.
Yes, you delay. You stall. You're stalling.
Oh, forget it. And I know I'm doing it. And I know like Coach Jackson would not approve of me doing this. Like leg day should not take an hour and 48 minutes. But I swear to you, the second time through that program, it was like a little under 2 hours. I'm like, I did finish it, but.
Hey, you finished it. That's the important thing. I have found that usually week 2 usually is easier than week 1 because the soreness doesn't last as long the second week. So
I'll see you tomorrow on Facebook, Crystal. Day 1 of week 2 tomorrow morning.
Well, I kind of have a little sad thing for Tonal right now because I'm currently doing this MetPro program, so they're helping me like lose weight, and so I told them my workout thing, and they told me for the next 2 weeks I can't lift weights.
Really?
Yeah, it's all cardio, steady state cardio, 6 days a week for the next 2 weeks.
Wow.
That was the same awkward pause she said when they told her. Mm-hmm. She had the same of like, well, what?
I mean, she was like, well, you can do a day here and there, but I'm just trying to give you the fastest results. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm still going to do a yoga or something because I got to keep my streak.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, unfortunately, that kills me. So I've been on the thing 4 times a week since I got it, basically. But we finally kind of located somewhere for a couple weeks away from the Tonal. And I lost my streak a couple weeks short of the year. The week before they launched
the app,
the app where you could keep the streak going. I was just like, oh,
son of a.
I know, just very, very upsetting.
So, how are you balancing Tonal and your other workouts? I know you said you have Peloton. So, how's that working for you?
I am currently partially cheating on the Peloton. So I never could have believed the Peloton's a whole other story, but I took to that. It started with, I had no idea when I tried out the Peloton in the store in the fancy mall in Boston, what Tabata was. And I asked, could I do a 45-minute ride? And I said, who's like your favorite instructor kind of thing? And they said, well, probably Robin Arzon. So I just picked like the highest rated ride, and it's like Tabata, which is
you did that in the store.
Yeah, you should have. So I did it in the store. Midway through, I'm literally choking out tears of joy, like it was just an endorphin bath from wherever.
Wow!
And my wife came in the store and started screaming at me because I was just dripping from head to toe, and she wasn't quite aware of the business model that you actually do work out there. So I kind of got absolutely hooked on Peloton, and I'll leave it there. That's a whole other kind of story. But when we got the Tonal, you never could have convinced me that I would be using the Tonal more than the Peloton. So I would say now I'm usually on the Tonal 4 days a week, and I try as best I can to get on the Peloton 3 to 4 days a week. But I like time-wise, there's no doubt I'm now spending, like I enjoy them both and I love them both. But I definitely spend more time on the Tonal.
I hear you. I mean, I think the strength, especially as a woman, as I get older, it's more important to me to keep everything moving and be strong. And I think that strength is the way to do that. So I tend to go that direction as well by using the Tonal more than Peloton, which is really hard because I have the tread and the bike. So really that's like 4 days on the Tonal, 2 days on the tread, 1 day on the bike is kind of what it's been.
You've got like a trifecta going. Plus you got a bag in that basement.
I do, which has been very ignored for a long time because I've been into running lately. So
I'm still upset I didn't win that. I'm just saying.
A lot of people are.
I did.
It's okay.
Did enter multiple times.
Sorry.
No.
So what do you think?
I was just going to say it amazes me that I find myself as entertained with the tonal. You never could have told me that resistance training or weight training was for me, or that it would be enjoyable. It just seemed like it was going to be a chore, and with such a bad family health history, it just seemed like one of those things that I really need to do and was motivated to do. But as it turns out, I just find it really, really enjoyable.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. What do you think your favorite feature of the tonal is?
I really like the kind of whole chains eccentric mode. The new graphs are amazing. Truth be told, I kind of love it all. I love the little beat. Probably what really motivated me about 2 months ago, I called service because I got up to the limit on the deadlift, and all of a sudden, I don't know if you've had the fan go off on the tonal.
No.
But if you lift enough, it must be something in the electromagnetic magic stuff that it must, on the heavier weights, it kind of can heat up.
Oh.
And this very loud fan kind of comes on to cool the machine down.
Okay.
So that's my new favorite feature.
Yeah, that's pretty kick-ass.
You're like, that fan came on.
You're like, I bought the machine to work out, and I just made the machine work out.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So has your sorry. Oh, you have more. Keep telling us.
No worries. I would say that's it. I mean, the specialty modes and just the design of the machine itself is it's just nice to look at. The arms move seamlessly.
It's beautiful.
Agreed.
So has your wife been using the tonal, or is she still goes to the gym?
No. So she has. She just did. I'm trying to think. She went through. I forget what she started with. I know she has gone through Coach Nicolette's, like the beginning, intermediate, advanced plan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Making muscle.
Yes. Making muscle, the kind of 3-part trajectory. So I think she's completed like 8 programs.
Oh, that's a lot.
And I forget her name. She's got short blonde hair.
Natalie?
Yes. So she did one of Coach Natalie's programs and just really, really, really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
So it's just all been a really positive experience. And again, she was somebody, she was a college athlete. She's always been in the weight room. She's kind of fearless and in terms of doing her programming with kind of dumbbells, kind of, et cetera. And I think initially she thought it really was going to be kind of a supplement. But she's on it pretty consistently 3 days a week. I keep telling her I have to charge her for her gym membership. But
good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't really worked out, Tom.
It rarely does. So how's the community been? You mentioned that you've been enjoying that.
Yeah. So I would say at the moment, this thing with the raising the barbell too has just been a blast. I just see them doing more and more of that. There's kind of this group of folks who are all passing through, and it's interesting to see the same names come up.
Definitely.
Kind of in a smaller, intimate way. The community's been really, anytime I've posted or whatever, it's been quite a journey this year, has been really, really supportive. And then the coaches too, that kind of blows me away. I asked a question online maybe 3-4 months ago at Coach Nicolette, and all of a sudden, instead of on the post, I get an instant message from her.
Aww.
With your knee, do you have this or that or the other? So I'm going back and forth on instant message, and I think I'm using the wrong word because I'm trying to sound smart, because it's like Coach Nicolette, right? So the torsion or some muscular thing that I had no idea about. And so she wasn't quite understanding me, and I'm looking on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, there's that little phone insignia. So I tapped it, and she picked up, which was kind of crazy. It's like, this is Nicolette. I'm like, Coach Nicolette, like the Coach Nicolette. So she goes, boy, I didn't even realize that worked through Facebook. You could call me. And we had this, very lovely conversation. She was super helpful. And then Coach Jackson was some of my posts. Recently, I posted something, and I'm looking at it, and it was one of those little video messages. And I'm looking at it. I don't have the sound on, but I'm like, this is not like a 10-second message. This is like a long message. So I called my wife in, and getting back to that theme, I thank you, Coach Jackson, for making me look good in front of my wife.
So he wasn't like, I know how long you're delaying your leg days.
Yeah, no.
That's going to be your next message from Coach Jackson.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be in trouble. So it just really could not, between Kate Telge, the various coaches, and then the people online. I mean, truth be told, I'm impressed by the female names that come up. I'm not going to give you my actual weight, but I'm well over 200 pounds and 6 feet tall. And I look at the volume that, any number of women are doing, and I'm like, I still should stay out of the weight room.
Yeah, like day 2, or I guess it was leg day last week. I saw people posting they had their highest volume ever in the 30,000 in one session.
Oof.
Yeah, and I did that same workout just for a baseline comparison. I had 9,400. That was I was like, oh.
There's like apples to oranges, and then there's apples to grapes.
It was sad.
Yeah, it's scary. Like, I find it just really, it's just really inspiring in my mind. So it's been neat to see other people's stories. It's been neat to see people respond when I posted things, and just I think the kind of reverberation of that motivation through the coaching, through the AI, through the biofeedback with the bar graphs and the sine curves, and they're obviously always adding, like a million different things. I'm pretty sure it'll make me a cappuccino next month. But and then it just gets kind of reinforced online, and you'd never think that would have that much of an impact, because you're kind of interacting in a sense with strangers, but they're all strangers that you share something in common with, which is the love kind of for this product and what it's doing for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people that are just getting their tonal?
I would say to this day, again, if you put me in a weight room, I would swear to you, I would hate weightlifting. Like, it's just not my thing. And I think that, start slow, do challenge yourself, learn the machine. There's a little bit of a learning curve, like there is with anything, because it's got a variety of features, and truth be told, trust in the process. I think the level of entertainment and motivation brings you to a level where you engage a lot more than you would on your own. And by that motivation and larger amount of engagement, you wind up seeing results, I think, way quicker. I have nothing to compare it to other than I'm really motivated to use that machine. I've seen lots of results, and I know without kind of the coaching, the motivation, the online, like that full package, I don't think I'd be here. So I just say, trust the process, engage it, find the instructors that speak to you and that motivate you, and just set it and forget it.
That's great advice.
I mean, it really is like having a personal trainer.
It is.
Like, they do all the thinking for you.
Yes.
You just go in and do the stuff.
Which is good, because I wouldn't do it if they weren't doing it.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, honestly, I keep coming back to that point, but I just would not have seen myself getting into resistance training without that level of motivation and entertainment.
I think it's good advice, because it tells people that think that they would hate weight training, don't just completely discard the idea of tonal just because you've never enjoyed weightlifting. It's a different experience at home. It's a different experience on this machine. It's different from anything else out there. And I think that you saying that is good for people to hear, because I think there are some people that just, I didn't like it in the gym, I'm not going to like it at home. So I think it's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, I guess thank you so much for taking time to join us today. Before we go, where can people find you on social media if you would like to be found?
So I'm somewhat of a Luddite. I think I have an Instagram account, but I don't really know how to access it. But I am on Facebook just under my name, David Stember. And then professionally, I do a variety of things as a psychologist, that I would say, like, just office phone number, and going really old school, is 978-745-6555. Probably the most direct way to reach me. But Facebook and instant messaging over Facebook is real easy, and I am there. I am in the on the Tonal website and the community. So
awesome.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Much obliged. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Well, I guess that brings this one to a close. Until next time, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe, and they can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ClipOutCrystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/Superset Podcast. And remember, wherever you're getting your podcast from, be sure and subscribe while you're there so you never miss an episode. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep lifting.
Smart training, there you are. Customize, make it right. AI, form and vibe. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a tonal workout.
The Superset is made possible in part by support from Tonal.